Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is titled Secrets of BIM Style. But straight up, right off the bat, I have a confession to make. This video is not about how to do BIM Style. This video is not a tutorial. This is not about body movement or body mechanics. Because I personally do not believe that there anybody can learn BIM style from a video. It's not because we can't put a video together. I mean, if I put my mind to it, I could put a 30-minute video together which would explain from A to Z. But I don't think that's productive. And if you give me about 15 minutes of your time and listen to this video, hopefully it will be clear of why I believe this, or why this is my position. Okay. Now, a couple of things about me. Yes, I am a graduate student of BIM Style, which means I have done the curriculum, I have done all the tests, and I done the final exam. Currently, I do not class myself as a BIM Style thrower, based on the idea that I have kept the core, the idea, the foundation, but I put my own, let's call it my own nose spin on this. So I'm kind of made up a hybrid way of throwing. Okay, but enough about me. Now BIM stands for, so BIM stands for boost in momentum. Now, in a nutshell, what it means is that you don't need to force the knife or the implement to the target. If your body mechanics are correct, if your movement is nice and fluid, then you hardly need anything to get the knife or any other implement into the target. That's just in a nutshell. Okay. Now, BIM Style was created by a very talented Indonesian thrower called Bimo. He also a very talented throwing knife maker. He has a YouTube channel called BIM Knives. Highly recommend to have a look at it. And yeah, his throwing knives are just amazing. And there is also some throwing on that channel too. Now, so please excuse me, this video is gonna be a little bit, I haven't made a whole list. It's not like a statement that I'm going to read off from a piece of paper. I'm kind of playing it by ear. Let's see where the flow takes us. So I'm going to start with people who interested about the style. BIM Style has a public Facebook group. Highly recommend to have a look at it. There are students and mentors posting videos there. And that's also the point where you can contact the secretary if you wish to become a student. And then he will guide you through the process. It's a very informal process, okay? Once you became a student, you will be assigned a mentor, okay? There's a few mentors in BIM Style, but it's not one mentor, one student. It's one mentor who looks after multiple students. Now, the mentor's job is to give the student the exercises, and then when the student is ready, give them the test and evaluate the tests. And then new exercises, new test, another set of exercises, another set of tests. So it is like a stepping stone, one step at a time, keep building from one to the other. Okay. Now, yes, there are many tests to do. Also, BIM Style has 3 levels: B1, B2, B3. Some would call them BIM Style 1, BIM Style 2, BIM Style 3. Some say it's a basic 1, basic 1, basic 3. Whatever. Make up your own mind, whatever makes more sense. Now, the importance of these levels, that the end of level exam, before you can move on to the next level, or before the student can move on to the next level, that is evaluated by Bimo himself. So if there are, I should maybe call it holes in the student's learning, or he's slightly off the path, it's easy to be corrected before more is added to his learning. So it is like a double check to make sure that everybody is actually on the same path. And I love this idea. This is a great idea. One person marking everybody. But this only happens between the levels, okay? During the level, the mentor will look after the student. Now, why are these levels or tests important? Unfortunately, I don't know if that's just a European thing or way of looking at tests. People would say tests are, I need to pass this test so I can learn more. Actually, I want to pass this test, I can learn more. Not really. You have to think of in a way of this test is a marker, is a reassurance. If you got the test right, that means you got the learning right. That means you're ready for the next set of challenges ahead of you. If you couldn't get the test right, that means you still need to be, you're not ready. So basically, it's an idea of learn to crawl before walk, learn to walk before running. Okay? And then this just keeps on building, and then suddenly you're at the finals, the final exam. Again, the final exam you will be judged by Bimo himself. Now, let's look at some of the information, or I would say misinformation, or maybe it's just some misguidance about BIM Style, because there's not much information out there about it. Okay, now, first and most important, no, it is not SKNAF. Okay, this is similar but completely different. Okay, and people who would say, yeah, well, it is just an offshoot of SNAF, not really, no. Did Bimo learn SNAF beforehand? I'm not sure, but I have talked to many SNAF throwers. This is not it. Yes, it is closely, it is related somewhat, both of them using a relaxed motion, but there's some of the fundamental philosophies are different. Okay, that's very important. Another kind of idea, or not idea, but people who would talk up against BIM Style or learning is fee. You have to pay for learning. Yes, there is a membership fee. Now, currently, it's somewhere around 20 or 25 cents a day. Okay, so it's a cup of coffee a week, or maybe half a coffee a week. It's not much. But on the other hand, I have to acknowledge, or I would like to acknowledge, that some people are in current financial place. They are very hard up the wall, and this is like everything. So I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying it is what it is. Okay, but what this is a membership fee. You're not locked into 4 years of learning or whatever. You don't pay for every test. You don't pay for your mentor's time. You don't pay for the time you talk to Bimo one-on-one. But you are paying a membership fee. Now, there is plenty of organizations having online presence that to be part of, you have to pay a membership fee. There is plenty of groups, certain different topics, plenty of free ones, and plenty where you pay a membership fee. So take that or do with this information whatever you wish, or judge it in any way you want. Now, and the beauty of this particular way of membership, if you figure it out that you don't like it in 3 months' time, you stop. You are not locked in. You're not contracted. You don't pay ahead. It's not like that. In my opinion, this is a good thing. Some people are not agreeing with this. That's fine. On the other hand, also have to say, as I explained, this is a very structured, step by step learning environment. A well thought out curriculum, which you cannot start in the middle. You have to start at the beginning, get it right, move on. So some people will hate it. Some people will not do good under these circumstances, because they free spirit, they learn differently. All of us learn differently. And for some people, this is awesome. This is easy to follow. You know what to do next. So you can't really say, well, this is not good, because it's not good for some people, and yes, it is perfect for others. This is just what it is. No, you do not have to learn so many different implements. You only learning no spin, knife throwing. That's all you're learning. Okay, you don't have to learn how to throw needles or nails or whatever else. You're just learning, and when I say just, it's air quote, no spin, knife throwing. Now, the second or another one of these misstatements is BIM style is very rigid, is very isolating the body. And it is a yes and a no kind of answer. Yes, it is, and no, it isn't. So while you're learning, you have to start somewhere and then slowly add another part to it. So if you're learning to, for example, you're learning to relax the wrist, okay? Now, if you're doing a full body motion and try to figure out at the end of that motion to relax your wrist, it's not going to happen, because everything else happening around it. But if you isolate that piece, you can actually learn to relax it properly. This is just an example, okay? Now, and the other thing is where I assume this conclusion came from, there are not even halfway through the course, the students or I did realize that how little I have to do if I follow the correct way, how little I have to do to get the knife into the target. So there are some students and there are some mentors who are perfecting this, what I call as minimal effort, maximum result, okay? Which is basically you can sit down and then you hardly do anything, and the knife just gets magically gets to the target, okay? And yes, there are mentors, there are students who are perfecting this part of BIM style, okay? But this is not the whole thing. This is just one part of it. Now, if you're into martial arts, this is like a little bit of compensation. Or if you're into martial arts, you ever heard of the kata called sanchin, which is a hard breathing kata. That is also isolating the body, and you learn to move or tense part of your body while other parts moving freely. Now, that kata, for a grappler, it's like, why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. Although for a karateka, especially a Gojuru practitioner, I'm not talking about mech dojos, I'm talking about proper lineage dojo, that would say, yes, that is the foundation. You need to learn that. And if you're just a novice, looks at, oh, that is just silly. Because, to be honest, from just looking at without understanding, it is silly. So it's easy to draw the wrong conclusion and say, well, BIM style is isolating the body. There is no full body movement. It can be never be good. Bear that in mind, okay? Now, where do we go from here? Expected time frame. That's always a good question, because plenty of people will tell you that, or not plenty, a few. The reason you have to do so many tests, so they keep you occupied, they keep you there, so you pay forever. Well, not really. I know people who were part of the group before I started, and they are still part of it because they enjoy their friendship, the belonging, they're talking to, and they do a little bit of training, and they're just slowly chipping away at it. Okay. Now, but that's not the norm. It took me a year and a half to get through the curriculum. Again, that's the what I looked at people throughout my time. That's not the norm either. The norm, if you're putting in the effort and you're semi-talented, you go somewhere between 9 months, 7, 8, 9 months, to about year and a half. Okay, that's your reality. This is the amount of time you need to develop the muscle memory to do this way of throwing. Okay, now I have seen a very talented French thrower who done the full course. I think it was about 7 or 8 months with his dominant hand. Then he changed to his left hand and went through it within 3 months. Okay, but he was putting in the effort, a lot of effort, and he was also talented. So the time is, how long does it take you? How long is a piece of string? Now, with that comes the conclusion of the whole video. Actually, before I go to that, it's very important to say BIM style type of learning is not for everybody. Okay, and there are plenty of throwers who tell you that you do not need structured learning because knife throwing is not like a martial art. No, it isn't. There are plenty of people who just picked up the knife and learned how to throw. But this is a very specific way of thinking and a very specific way to move. And to be that kind of effortless looking, or sort of visual, effortless, the visual side, when people will sit in 4 or 5 meters and hardly move, and they get to the target, get the implement to the target, it takes time to learn it. Okay, it's up to an individual to decide, does it worth it for me? For me, it did. It 100%. It changed everything. And while I'm not following the mold 100%, the core of it, what I do or how I see throwing, is still there. And I'm ever be grateful for Bimo and for the mentors to give me this knowledge and to introduce me to people who are awesome friends. All right. So yeah, can you learn without it? Of course. Will you be better if you? Some people, not everybody. Okay. And this is where we get to the very last kind of idea or topic. This, what I just explained, is the reason I don't believe a 20 or 30-minute video will be adequate to teach you BIM style, because we are, and if you are not, then please, um, forgive me, but I am. We're lazy. Okay, we don't want to deal with the basics. We want to go straight to the good stuff. Oh, I know this, I know this, I know this. I'm skipping. Yep, now this is where the full everything happens. Put it together and it doesn't happen. It's wrong because you haven't done the homework. You haven't done the basics. And this step by step by step, I would air quote it to say forced way of learning is the one that makes it what it is. Or, well, no. It's not what it is. It's the way of learn it or develop the muscle memory you need it, okay? Because that's the forced way of learning is not BIM style, but that's how you develop the idea, okay? Now, I rambled on too long. It's 20 minutes. Hopefully, it helped some people to understand a bit more about what it is and why you need to be part of the school if you want to learn it. And if it didn't, then you just wasted almost 21 minutes of listening to me. Hope it wasn't wasted, but thanks for listening, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.